the global sanction regime on Russia. In February 2022, the global financial system was weaponized on a scale never before seen in modern history. Following the invasion of Ukraine, a coalition of over 40 countries launched a sanctions revolution. The goal? To isolate the world's 11th largest economy and degrade its ability to wage war. But 4 years later, the results are complex. While Western capitals claim they've denied Russia over $450 billion, Russia's economy grew by 3.5% in 2023. Today, we're looking past the headlines. We're exploring the technical mechanics of these sanctions, how Russia adapted, and why the global South remains the wild card in this economic tug-of-war. The 3 pillars of sanctions. To understand the response, we have to look at the 3 main pillars used by the G7 and the EU. Pillar 1. Financial isolation. The removal of major Russian banks from SWIFT, the global messaging system for payments. The freezing of roughly $300 billion of Russian central bank foreign reserves. Pillar 2. The energy cap. Unlike a total ban, which would have sent global oil prices into a tailspin, the G7 implemented a $60 per barrel price cap. If Russia sells above this price, they lose access to Western insurance and shipping services. Pillar 3. Dual-use tech bans. Prohibitions on exporting semiconductors, aviation parts, and specialized sensors, items needed for both refrigerators and cruise missiles. The Russian response and the shadow fleet. Russia did not sit still. They pioneered what analysts called the shadow fleet, a collection of hundreds of aging tankers with opaque ownership that operate outside Western insurance circles. Key points. Trade pivot. In 2021, the EU took 45% of Russia's gas. By 2025, that number plummeted, but exports to China and India surged. Import substitution. Russia launched a massive domestic drive to replace Western goods, often parallel importing iPhones and car parts through third countries like Kazakhstan or the UAE. Wartime Keynesianism. The Russian government dramatically increased military spending, reaching an estimated 7.2% of GDP by 2025. This fueled domestic factories and kept unemployment at record lows, around 2.9%, even as it strained the long-term civilian economy. The neutrality factor. This is where the narrative of total isolation meets reality. While the West is united, the global majority, including India, Brazil, South Africa, and much of the Middle East, has maintained a policy of strategic neutrality. Neutrality rationale. Energy security. Nations like India argued that their first priority was keeping energy affordable for their own citizens. Sovereignty. Many countries in the global South view unilateral sanctions, those not passed by the UN Security Council, as a violation of international law. The gains from trade. Research from the Cato Institute shows that while sanctioning countries cut trade with Russia by 80%, non-sanctioning countries increased their exports to Russia by 40% between 2022 and 2024. 2025 to 2026, the new phase. As we moved into late 2025 and 2026, the strategy shifted. The focus turned from imposing new sanctions to enforcing old ones. October 2025, the U.S. Treasury sanctioned Russia's 2 largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, citing a lack of commitment to peace talks. Secondary sanctions. The West began targeting firms in China and Turkey that helped Russia bypass the tech bans. The asset debate. A major legal and ethical debate is currently unfolding. Should the frozen $300 billion be permanently seized to pay for Ukraine's reconstruction? This remains a point of contention that could reshape international financial law. Conclusion and impact assessment. So, are the sanctions working? If the goal was an immediate economic collapse, the answer is no. Russia's economy has proven more resilient and adaptable than many predicted in 2022. However, if the goal is a slow asphyxiation, the data tells a different story. Russia is facing acute labor shortages, high inflation, and a brain drain of its most talented tech workers. They are trading their long-term economic modernization for short-term military production. The world responded with a historic economic wall, but Russia found new windows. Whether those windows are enough to sustain a multi-year war of attrition is the question defining the next decade of geopolitics.
Thanks for watching. For more update on Russia and Ukraine war, please like and subscribe to New Informative.